Hello there, and welcome to day number 92 on the road to 2000 ELO Rapid Series. We're getting white pieces a lot these days. And we'll start with e4, as always. And after e4, e5, knight f3, we like to see this. Might get a little repeat of yesterday, although now we actually get the proper four knights and not bishop c5, which we got last time around. Here, I like to play the four Knights Scotch. I think that I'll soon start trying the Gleck system, which is playing g3 and vacating the bishop on g2. But for the time being, this works fine and dandy. And the main line of the four knights is usually bishop b4. See what my opponent goes for. The one thing they shouldn't go for is taking on d4. We've seen a couple of examples of that and how that leads white to having a significantly better position, with e5 being ready and available soon after. My opponent's taking the time to think, so let's see what they decide to go for. This is not bad. This is kind of more in line with typical Scotch setups. And we'll respond with bishop e3 here. This sets up a nice little trap if they don't do anything about it. Knight takes on c6 is a very, very strong move, attacking the queen and the bishop with a fork, and they actually don't do anything about it. So we just simply take the knight on c6, attacking the queen, and also attacking the bishop on c5. And instructive, watch for your opponent's threats, even if it's early in the game. I mean, I can take the queen first, I can take the bishop. I'll choose to get the queens off the board, just because it probably makes my life easier when it comes to converting. And yeah, we just take the free bishop there, and we're just up a full piece. It happens to 1700s to 1800s as well. So if you're watching this and you're lower rated, one thing you're always going to look out for when you're playing a game of chess is, why did my opponent make their last move? Think about what threat does it make. It's not always going to make a threat, but you're going to want to still ask that question anyways to identify the possibility that something's being threatened, because that is something you're going to have to address if it is actually on the board. Bishop e7 is another way to quickly trade some pieces as well. Not only that, it also ruins black's pawn structure and weakens their king, which is more important than the pawn structure part. So we do that gladly. We have the open, semi-open g file now, where we can attack the black side. And here I'm just going to castle, and we'll castle. Okay, and they resign. I can't really blame them. I mean, you're playing down a piece, and that didn't really do much, even though my pawn was pinned. I had two defenders, so I could just castle freely anyways. Quick resignation. We'll probably hop into another game. But now we're going to go into game two. And we're playing with white pieces again. All right, I love it. Hey, I'm not complaining about this. And we're facing something else, a Nimzo. Here, I can go d4 right away. I think I will, which is probably the main line. D5, and you can already tell that I'm out of prep here. This is not something I'm overly familiar with. We'll take the pawn on d5. We'll invite the queen to come out. Get the knights out onto f3 and probably on c3 on the next move if they don't move their queen. The open sort of initiative against the queen is definitely welcome. And let's see what my opponent does. So, on the topic of the last game, I want to make sure that I'm taking the time to actually address the moves they're making, because very often it happens that I pull out a pace of move, I'm too focused on my own plan, on what I've been working on, and I will miss the idea behind a specific move. The fact that they're thinking so much right now is strange to me, because, I mean, I presume that this is an opening they play regularly. Here, I'm considering knight c3, with the idea being that if bishop takes, knight takes, bishop takes queen, knight takes pawn, and after, let's say, the bishop goes here, I take the rook, for example. Oh, actually, no, it comes with check. King moves. I take the rook. The bishop gets away. I don't know if I want to do all that. Let's think about this a little bit more. But, even if the bishop gets away, well, I'd lose two pieces for the rook. I don't love that necessarily. I feel like there must be a better move here. I could perhaps try this. But I'm most inclined to go bishop e3. I think that's the safest option. And it is the one I'll go for. You get castles here. Now knight c3 comes in. pretty easily. Okay, now my opponent's picking up the pace a little bit. We're gonna go bishop e2, defending against all threats. We maintain the 2 defenders against the pawn, and we maintain the 2 defenders here. This is interesting. Wonder if I could do d5. I don't want to rush it. Right now there's 3 defenders on d5. And I'm wondering if I could force the issue here with h3, and I think I can. After bishop takes, the queen's gonna have to move away. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, wow, yeah, that's a good point, actually, that my opponent just made. That I can't take, because my rook is under threat. Instead, what I probably can do is go knight takes here. Problem if knight takes back, I can't take here because now they have a knight defending. So knight takes, I lose a piece, and I end up on the downside of all these exchanges. So now I'm thinking maybe I can go d5 because the queen is no longer under the protection of is no longer protecting d5. I'm thinking I can do that. I'm also thinking, why don't I fix my problem with this rook? I mean, with this king, and try to castle, because that might be too slow. Because wait, 1, 2, 3. Actually, you know what? I feel like I could do that. Move up. I'm expecting e4, in which case I could probably just move my knight. This is scary though. The rook gets an open line of attack. Might want to shut this down. So I'm debating between d5 and like queen d2. Let's go queen d2. If e4 happens, I'm going to go knight g1 and try to make these trades, I think. I don't love it, though. Okay. e4 is not what happens. Okay. I'm a little worried here. Bishop takes, I have knight takes. And then I can get my queen away. It takes here. I also have queen takes. But then they can just take here. So I'm going to go knight takes. There's no immediate way of attacking the knight with a pawn. They do it with a bishop. I don't really mind. I can just castle. I can just castle. Yep. Get a safety. Interesting game, though. Like, this has been cool. A bishop here is, I guess, a little bit of a threat. I can slide my queen away. And now I'm going to want to move my queen out of the trouble. And we can do that by going queen c3. And everything is still defended. In a quite complicated manner. I'm worried about this, I'm not going to lie. But with the king next to the rook, I should be okay. The f2 pawn is doing quite a lot to support this bishop. And I think, tactically, everything still fine. Although, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll be missing something in the overall, overarching sort of stuff. Stuff. I might have to go queen e1 here. I'm getting a little concerned. So, if I move my queen to b3, which is really the only other square that makes any sense, I'm worried about knight takes, knight takes. Bishop takes, bishop takes. I guess I shouldn't be too worried. Keep the queen active. But then they're probably going to go 95. Not overly concerning. I have a feeling I might be missing something here. It's getting scary. We'll do this. If I get punished for it, then honestly, kudos, my opponent. This is complicated stuff. Yeah, knight takes, knight takes. And the idea is that I'm not worried about knight takes on f1, because they have to try bishop takes first. After bishop takes back, you can't get rid of the bishop with the rook, I think, because that weakens the threat of knight takes f1. There's no fork anymore. I can move my other rook out of the way. Okay. Not sure what this does. Gotta think about it. Well, it attacks a pawn concretely. Can I make any threats against this? Not that I can see. um, can just move the pawn to g3. Weakens the square on f3 though. I don't love it. Wonder if I can make threats. Starting to run a little low on time. A little concerning. Drop. I mean, this pawn is not too worrying. I can just take here. Enforce the issue. Maybe we just go here. Where's the knight go? The knight slides here. That's okay. No, it's not. Not okay. I bring my rook to e1. Okay, we'll just try it. Knight here, rook e1. Everything still stays defended. Besides this pawn, well, no, pawn doesn't matter. Oh wait, no, this doesn't work tactically. Okay, wait. Takes, takes, doesn't work. Okay, I'm losing a piece. But at least after rook takes, rook takes, rook takes bishop, a check. And then I have queen e3 maybe. But after the check, they just have rook back. Maybe we'll start by playing this first. If they just bring the rook back, then it's kind of terrible. But let's try this. I can take the pawn on a7 if they slide all the way back. We're at least making some sort of counterattacks. Forking, checkmate, and a7. It's just the pawn, but it infiltrates a very, very important square. Interesting. Okay. So now that's a good move. Check doesn't do anything. You can try this. Going for the same idea, but also now threatening rook check as well. Okay, they decide not to do anything about it. I feel like there must be something that wins here. Um, they're threatening something here too. Check, rook back. What if I go check, rook back, takes, queen check, king down, queen check, and save the knight. If I go here, this wins. Hmm. Okay. Let's try this. The rook's gonna go back. I guess they also have king here, which I didn't really think about. That probably wins for them. Although I'd have queen here. Okay. Yeah, no. This was a failed attempt. Yeah, and I have nothing here. Um, yeah, don't see anything. All right. Tough. Take a look at that one. That was an interesting game, though. It's pretty fun. So we'll start by quickly going over the first game. We had the four Knights Scotch, with the pawns out on e4 and e5, and the four knights out to towards the center, and d4 breaks it open, as is typical of the Scotch opening. And here, after the pawn trade in the center of the board, bishop c5 is actually a fine move. But you definitely need to know how to follow it up after bishop e3, and the thing not to do is just ignore the tension in the middle. The reason being, as we saw, that knight takes on c6, attacks the queen and also attacks the bishop. So you end up being down a bishop, as happened in the game. If you want to know what you're supposed to do in a position like this, it's probably just best to move your bishop out of the way. So the engine recommends bishop b6, bishop b4, or even capturing the knight on d4 as the best moves. Essentially, you just don't want to keep this tension because the resulting tactic loses you a full piece. And soon after that, my opponent resigned here. So not much to see in this game. Let's go on to the next one. And in this one, sorry about that, we ended up having the white pieces again, and we played a Scandinavian. So, well, sort of. A Nimzo, because it starts with knight c6, but then this d5 idea is typical of the Scandi, where you get the queen out early into the game. And here, typically, against the Scandinavian, you want to play knight c3, but that's not possible right now because of the double attack against the pawn on d4. So instead, you develop the other knight first, and then play knight c3, which I didn't do for some reason. Why did I do that? Knight c3, bishop takes. I don't think. Oh wait, I calculated this, and I thought that this wasn't great for me. Bishop takes here. Knight takes on d5. Bishop takes on d1. I thought for some reason that this was not good for me. Apparently, I was wrong. Um, and the reason being, I guess that after Bishop takes on c2. Does my knight get out? Can attack this knight first. Okay, d5. Bear with me. We're gonna learn a little bit here. Do a little bit of learning. Knight b4. Sure. And I guess the argument is that we have developed sufficiently in order to make up for the fact that this knight is no longer in the game. Interesting. Yeah, bishop e4 makes a lot of sense here, going after this pawn. Let's say castles. Now, you do not take the pawn. I guess there might be tactics here, but even I don't see a threat there because you can defend. I mean, I trust the engine, obviously, but hypothetically, let's say hypothetically I choose to take, for example. Rook d1 is played. Oh, sorry. Rook d1 is played, but then I just defend here. How is this knight getting out? Bishop f4. I guess I can never access with the king. Oh, and now here, the knight gets out. Okay, anyways, so there's no easy way to win back the knight. Good to know. Yeah, that just, I did not calculate all that very evidently by the fact that I played this in like 45 seconds. I decided to go for a safe option that keeps everything defended, and it's not a bad move. Here knight c3 is inaccurate. The engine prefers bishop e2, which frees up the tension on this knight. But I feel like you're eventually going to play knight c3 anyways, unless if you play knight d2. I guess that's also a possible move. But yeah, anyways, here, this is all fine. This move, e5, is the only move in this position. So clearly my opponent knows what they're doing in the opening. And here I'm already significantly worse. I have to play d5 or I have to castle. I was considering d5. I didn't like d5 because I was kind of worried about e4 and the implications of that. But I could just move my knight and then I'm maintaining the attack here. So yeah, I mean this is complicated stuff. But we managed to get into a position that wasn't terrible. Here, if they continued with taking the knight towards the center, I would have probably taken back with the knight. And if they play c5 now, okay, so whatever they take with c5 wins a piece. So that's what my opponent and I both missed, is that if you just play knight takes, even if I take with a bishop, for example, c5, and you're going to win this bishop at the very least because you don't want to capture, and the queen is being pinned. So that's nice. That's pretty nice. We both missed it, and I castled long. And here, I'm already relatively fine if I find the right moves. And this is not the right move, but my opponent doesn't punish me for it. Even here, apparently, knight takes d4 is best. And let's see why. Knight takes back. And queen d5 is the reason why. Attacks this pawn, attacks this pawn. Okay, a simple fork. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's a difficult position for white. I mean, it already has been for a little bit now. My opponent, once again, doesn't find the right move. And I choose rightly to play queen b3. Queen e1 would have been really bad, apparently. It's the other move I was considering. I didn't even consider queen c4. But yeah, apparently queen e1's really bad because of knight takes on d4. Which, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you just, wait, what? So queen e1, knight takes, let's say knight takes, and now knight g3, whoa, whoa. I'm still not seeing it. Knight g3, okay, let's play into it. Pawn takes, bishop takes, and then you get the same sort of position that lost me the game here. Very, very interesting, and that would be a brilliant move. But yeah, no, f3 walks into the same knight g3 idea, and now you were able to play it without even losing the knight. And yeah, here I'm in huge trouble. So that's that. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I really do appreciate the support I get and the fact that you tune in to these videos every day and see how the chess is going for me. I really, really do want to put effort into improving over the next few weeks and months. So hopefully that's going to reflect in my quality of play and also my quality of commentary. And I'm always open to advice and feedback. If you have any to share, please do. I really, really genuinely appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.